Right, welcome back to the Peak Performance Podcast. I'm actually joined by a very special guest today, is Coach Amy, who's been with us in Genji Physique for nearly 2 years now, is it?
Yeah.
2 years?
Yeah.
And she's been here for a while. She's part of the furniture, and we're looking forward to getting her on and learning a lot more about her situation. I wanted to bring Amy on because she's got a story to tell herself, how she got into ultimately health and fitness, and now how she's helping hundreds of people globally around the world inside our company, which she does a fantastic job in doing. So, Amy, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're not used to these podcasts.
I'm not. This is not my kind of vibe. I'm not used to this. So just bear with me. Let me settle into this.
She's very intelligent, very switched on, very good coach, but she's not usually in front of the camera much. She's behind the scenes, which is fine. But we're going to get her out of the shell today because she's got a lot of information to share with you guys, and hopefully it inspires you and motivates you moving forward. But who is Amy? Where's she from originally? You know, what was she doing originally? Tell us a little bit about you, your background, your story.
So I'm 26.
Okay.
If you need to know that. Originally from the UK, small town in the UK called Leigh.
Yeah.
Leigh.
You're a Manc.
Just outside of Manchester. Make it easy. Yeah, just outside of Manchester. I've been in Dubai now 2.5 years, and I couldn't see myself moving back.
So tell us about that. For those who are wondering, obviously we're doing this podcast in Dubai and everything else, but what made you come to Dubai in the first place?
So I think mainly it was the whole lockdown shenanigans. The UK wasn't great.
You just wanted to get out.
We needed to get out of the UK. Everyone was miserable. Everyone's so negative.
Yeah.
And the lifestyle here is just so much better. Opportunities are better. So yeah, that was the gateway to get out of the UK.
Gotcha. And when you first entered the health and fitness industry, I know we were speaking of, you were like, well, there's not much of a story. Well, how did you get into health and fitness in the first place? How did you discover your passion for it, I guess?
I would say it's kind of from a young age. So when I was young, I was always doing something active. Started in gymnastics, then did dancing.
So I didn't know that.
See?
Yeah, there you go.
Gymnastics, dancing. I was doing that until I was in high school. And then obviously I picked up more sports in school. So I just drifted away from the dancing and the gymnastics.
Right, okay.
Focused more on the netball and the hockey.
You're the UK's equivalent Simone Biles. That's
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
That's me.
Fantastic. That's good to know. See, obviously you went through that then. You discovered, obviously, your own transformational journey.
Yeah.
And where did that go?
So just from being active in school, I would say then I started going to the gym when I was around 15.
Yeah.
And when I say going to the gym, I mean probably walking on a treadmill for like 30 minutes. But as I stuck with it, I started venturing more into the weight section.
Yes.
That took a while because that was deemed back then it's not the female place. That's not where the females go. So that took a while. And then I just fell in love with it and the feeling that I got from it. So that was just a journey itself. Yeah, it's good.
So I want to pick your brain on that because obviously you help so many, the majority of your clients are females.
Yes.
And you're empowering them to ultimately have that mindset moving forward with stepping into the weight room, resistance training, resistant profiles to ultimately sculpt and figure their body moving forward. I want to get your approach to how you handle women and their approach with that, with your programming as well. How have you got that message across to people with that?
I would say how I got my message across with that is you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Okay.
And you don't get to that stage without taking any action and without putting yourself out there and doing things that you don't initially want to do. And great things happen when you step out of that kind of area. And I do try and promote that a lot to my clients.
Yeah.
It seems a bit daunting, seems a bit scary, but once they've done it once, they always come back and say, that was actually not that bad. I feel great after doing that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of...
So you're also educating them whilst getting them out that comes to helping them understand, oh, well, this is actually why we're doing this. This is how we're doing it.
Yeah.
And this is the effect that we're going to get.
Yeah. So if we want to get from A to B, we have to do all of this.
Yeah.
It might be a bit sticky and a bit, hard at times, but it gets you to where you want to be.
Yes. But building on that, because obviously I want everyone listening in to understand, how you go about actually servicing our clients. Because obviously we're very, very different. These other coaching services were a lot more bespoke, a lot more intimate, going to the root causes. You mentioned about that A-B model, but we're more so A-B-C in the fact that we go to section A first to reconstruct them. with their habits, rituals, routines, systems, audit their time, their lifestyle, their environment, their family, all these different things. Tell the guys, I guess, when you take on a new client, how does it go down? What are we doing on that first call, second call, onboarding, examination? Bring us behind the scenes on that.
So on the first call, we're pretty much getting just to know them as a person. We're getting to know their backgrounds. We're getting to know why they want to start this journey with us. And it's just deep diving into that, really trying to get to the nitty and gritty. Some people like to open up and some people are a bit more hesitant. And that takes a couple more calls to get the trust and build a relationship before they truly open up.
So you're just taking more time with that, in your experience with doing that, recognizing that behavior and just stretching.
Yes, some people are very on to the point on the first call, but some people are like, I've never met this person before.
Yeah, of course.
So it takes some people a little bit longer to open up.
Yeah.
So say on the first call initially, that's what we want to try and do, is try and get them to feel comfortable, to be able to open up to us, build the relationship and build the trust from the get-go, because that's important about the coaching side of things, because it isn't one-to-one. You can't get that human interaction kind of feeling on a Zoom call all the time. It's harder to do it that way. But that's initially what we want to get from the first call. Previous history, any sort of barriers that they have, any boundaries, anything that's holding them back from fully getting to their full potential. So that's how the first call
the big
goes.
thing you're hitting on the nail on the head with that is relationship. And
it's huge.
You've seen this when clients have come to us for initial 3-month marker and then you've resigned them, is mainly obviously the great results you get, but it's purely the relationship that you built with that person, whether I need to do coaching again.
Yeah. I would say it is a huge factor in the online coaching side for us, building a relationship, because they also want to do it for you as their coach. They don't want to let you down as their coach, which I do say this to my clients all the time whenever they say this. I'm like, don't do it for me. You're doing it for you. And like, they want to do me proud as their coach, which is a really good thing, I suppose. But I'd tell them, don't forget, you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for you. I'm just here to help you.
So talk about that then. You're saying about, we really get them to understand about doing it for themselves and discovering their why and why they're doing it. How do you go about that self-discovery with them? How do you go about holding that mirror up for them so they can actually establish that why? So they are all in.
Yeah, I think more than anything with trying to help them find their why is digging a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Like, not just doing it because you want to lose weight. Like, it needs to mean a little bit more to you than that, especially people who have a bigger weight loss drop to get to. You can lose sight, you can lose motivation along the way, but that's why you need to have a good enough reason, a good enough why to help you push through the hard times when it does get a bit tricky and it does get a bit daunting and a bit repetitive. You need something that really you're really passionate about to be able to do that, because there's going to be ups and downs.
Because that goes back to what we were saying about that ABC, and we're trying to get them to see, which is that revitalization, is that new identity, is that lifestyle change. But look at Geraldine as an example, right? That first 2 months, we crushed it with her, got into the position where we're like, okay, we want to maintain this. And then we did 12-month retainer, got to the end and was like, we've done our job now. You're set for the rest of your life. Goodbye. So our philosophy is get the results, enable you to keep them, maintain, sustain, and then goodbye.
Yeah.
And that's the job, because when you agree, like in the industry, we got all these new solutions coming in, but obesity's on the rise. It's a broken industry. It's a broken system.
It is.
We're trying to actually change one by one here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Geraldine was a great example of how we do things. She truly didn't believe that she could get to where she got to. She really thought, I'm at the age now where it's going to be so much difficult for me to lose weight. It's, I'm reaching menopause. And she never thought it was that. But she really did think that her age was the reason why it was so hard for her to lose weight. When essentially, when you strip it back, you prioritize your food and your nutrition, you prioritize your sleep, your hydration, your stress levels, and then your activity. When you look at it as a whole, it's not your age. It's, what you're putting inside of your body. It's how you're moving your body, how much stress and tension you're putting on your body that impacts the weight loss. And some people don't realize that.
We did a video the other day on priority hierarchy.
Yes, we did.
Is that right?
We did, yeah.
Yeah. So like the vast majority of individuals you work with in Dubai, in the UK, very busy professionals, time poor,
Yes.
other commitments, and they're putting themselves maybe 4 or 5 on the list.
Yeah, they're right down there. There's nowhere near number one.
And then they come in and obviously you're shifting their perspective. And that's why I really want to, like, with Amy, is she's not just giving out information. It's leadership. It's challenging behavior patterns, shifting people's perspective to help them get into that place to truly grow and progress, right? And that's, as for you, like your leadership curve and how it's changed from day one when you first went to where it is now is, I'd like to think, night and day different, right? How do you feel that's with your own self-development after being that leader? Because that's, you realize more and more you need to be that firm leader with them, right?
Yes, for sure.
Tell us more about that.
So I wouldn't describe myself as being a firm coach. In a lot of sense.
You've got moments.
I do have my moments, but I wouldn't say like good. I'm very stern.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it can bite me in the butt, but I do just try to get onto people's level. I think it's a strength, it's also a weakness, because with the weakness side of it being like not a pushover, but like I can really empathize with people. I'm really empathetic, and I can understand people's situations. But there's a time and a place on how much you can do that, and how people are just making excuses, and you're like.
So you were saying people need to be held accountable.
Yeah. That's the biggest part of online coaching. Yeah. It's just the accountability side of it.
It's huge, right?
It's huge. It definitely does help people in terms of getting to where they need to be, just because they have someone who is checking in on them. Someone who is, if they haven't done something, us as coaches, we're on the back saying, okay, you haven't done this yet today.
Exactly. The dynamic.
The dynamic.
It's like, this is where we are another level. This is where I really want you to tell people, because people talk about accountability. We do accountability on another level.
Yes, we do.
So Amy has a weekly one-to-one check-in call with every client, but then also she has a daily touch point with each client through WhatsApp. But then also what she'll do is she'll have a morning and afternoon. So she'll then loop back on the end of the day to make sure shit's been done. And if it hasn't, it's like, why is this not done?
Yeah.
And if it's, oh, by the way, this has come up, or this has come up, no worries. Amy's like, there you go. There's plan B for the day. Off you go. It's that level of dynamic nature to it. And that's what ultimately we work with. We're high-performing people, high-performing ladies and men who need high-performing systems.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're just up and down all the time. So we're on that sort of progress. And like we saw, Geraldine's a really good example of that, right?
Yes, she is.
Fantastic. So accountability is huge. Once you've gone through that, just peeling what I'm just saying with the guys here, when you go for that examination phase and everything else, what are you then doing? After you've examined, then you're going away doing your research, putting all the boxes together, the programming together. What does life look like after that with the club?
Once I've done the programming, from the...
Examinations, of course, happen. You've done your research with the team.
Yep.
Pulled together the program and the boxes to release that. What happened there?
Then we hop on again with them.
Yeah.
And we go through the program in more detail. Yeah. We don't just give them the meal plan and we give them a training program and go, here you go.
Yeah.
Here yourself for the next 12 weeks. Yeah. You go and do that. No. We have to walk them through it, make sure they feel 100% comfortable with what's been programmed, make sure they understand everything to a T. Because if they haven't done anything like this before, you can't just, throw it at them and be like, okay, here you go. No, we walk them through it, make sure they understand it, and we explain to them why we've put these systems in place. So that's what we do on the next phase is just make sure they understand why us as a coach has put this in place for them. And if they follow it, what they will get from it is what we do.
We were talking the other day about emotional eating and destructive habits and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That's a big, huge component working with the general public, and the general population is that is at the forefront all the time. And that's another element of where we are different. We're not just giving you a diet plan or training plan. Like Amy is going deep with you to create this car for you to enter the race and stay in the race. If we're able to do that, we're going to create sustainability. So I know we've spoken about that. How do you go about doing that from what we spoke about the other day with people?
I'm stumped. You have to say it again. Edit, say it again.
Say it again. So obviously inside our program as well, we deal with a lot of people in the general public.
Mm-hmm.
that are going through destructive habits or emotional eating patterns and everything else that we've seen. And that's why we're very different in not just giving a diet plan or a training plan. We're going to the root causes of them to build that car for them to enter the race. Obviously, that's a huge point about analysing at the start, but how do you navigate those issues at the start and then all the way through? How do you go about that personally?
So obviously it changes person to person, depending on what their root cause is. But we have got a lot of people who are suffering with self-sabotage and low self-esteem, low self-worth. And that doesn't always come across on the first call. Like I said, it will take sometimes a couple of more calls to get to that point. Or when they start making little changes, that's when they see, okay, before I wasn't a priority in my life. So how we go about that is trying to boost them as a person. Like, I will always be their biggest cheerleader, no matter what. For all of my clients, I'm always their biggest cheerleader, and I'm an advocate of celebrating everything, no matter how big or how little it is. Anything you do is an achievement. And even if it's a knockback, you need that sometimes to pick yourself back up and go at it again harder. So I will always be your biggest cheerleader. Here for you.
Do you need a cheerleader?
Sometimes I need a cheerleader. You could be my cheerleader.
Biggest cheerleader you'll see.
Yeah. But we do put systems in place for these things. Like, we, as coaches, have noticed this for years. So we've put documents together. We're trying to do things like this, podcasts, just to help people. We will do
community events.
Yes, community events where we will get all of our clients together, just so you don't feel like you're on this journey alone, because everyone's journey is different, yes, and sometimes it can be a bit lonely, but it's nice to know that people are also out there doing what you're doing and going through the motions as well as you. It just makes it easier.
Like you say, it's about creating that snowball effect.
Yes.
So we're supposed
snowball effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like the habits, the destructive habits are really high and raw when the snowball's in its infancy, when we're starting to
it's easy to break.
Right? Easy to break.
Yeah.
And then where the accountability comes in with you on them every single day, enabling them to tick those boxes, those new habits ticked off every single day, the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger to a position where it becomes so big it's hard to break.
Yeah.
It becomes that lifestyle change. And that's why the fusion of your daily accountability with the clients is huge in pulling it all together. But you make a good point about the community, and that's something that we really strive for and push, is our communities, because there's so much accountability, not in you, only to them, but also the group.
Yes, as a whole,
Being part of the pack more than anything.
It is. Yeah. It's always good to have a community base. It makes you tighter as a unit.
Yes.
And there's nothing that you can't do when you do it together. There's always someone who's been through the same situation as you. So it's always good to get other people's perspective of things, or just have more support around you. Everyone's, when the group gets going, it's really, really good.
Absolutely.
It's really good.
Absolutely. And then obviously, our last event that we had in Dubai, when was that, 2022? Was it 22?
Yes.
October 2022?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And you picked up an award as well?
I did.
You didn't tell them this.
I did.
You got Coach of the Year. There you go.
Best coach.
We've got the best coach on the couch here, and we've got a lot of coaches. So but events like that were great. It's amazing when you're public speaking in front of people, as much as you hate it.
It's not my forte.
But you did well. And it was good. And you got all these people that are coming to hear you, they're coming to listen to you.
Yeah.
That's the powerful thing of, spreading your message and, community, bring it together. A bigger purpose, a bigger movement, as opposed to a diet plan. Which is huge.
And it's just a lot better as well, because yes, we are online.
Yeah.
So it's just good to get the community feel for it, do these meetups, and it just feels a lot more normal. To have that human interaction, get to meet everyone, and just put faces to names, from the group perspective of things, with other members. And it's great. We had a lot of people really get quite close when we had the Dubai event. It was great. Yeah, it was really great to see.
Yeah. So obviously you've made some big strides in helping a lot of people now, a lot of transformations, a lot of results, but obviously you're working on some bigger things now. We're talking about DIFC and going down to different places, getting your face up there.
Yeah.
Helping more people with JVs and stuff like that, more community meetups and everything else that we're planning with ultimately your clients here as well. What are the plans in keeping this on? Where we go?
I think more than anything with the DIFC, we want to really be branched out to companies because we see it a lot here. The work-life balance here is just, it's non-existent. You know, it's all go, 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 which I fully appreciate, but a lot of people's health is suffering because of this.
Yeah.
Like, people just have no time at all for themselves. So we really want to pursue ourselves and get ourselves into companies to try and help them as a team. And, to, you know, that's only going to help them as a company if everyone in the company and the employees are happy, they're healthy, they feel like they can look after themselves and they're not running themselves into the ground.
Yes.
They have a lot more, you know, time auditing skills. You know, they're a lot more organized. They have more energy to do the work that they need to do. So that's the next step for us as a team, is to really
open those doors.
So open the doors and get into companies and help them understand they need to look after their staff.
Yeah.
To look after their business.
I think for you, obviously, we know we've got a good product, we've got a good system, and we just need to ultimately get that out to more people moving forward.
Yeah.
So we've got hundreds of clients into Physique and everything else, but there's so much opportunity for, like we see in the workforce, people who are really, really struggling, quite frankly, with like their balance, neglecting their health, they're entering their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and they're fried out, they're aging aggressively, and performance isn't there. Hence, this is all about Peak Performance podcast. We want to help educate you on what needs to be done. If you're recognizing this and you're in this cycle where you ultimately feel like you're, surviving as opposed to thriving, something's going to change. Something's going to give moving forward. What are those telltale signs, by the way? Like, for people listening, and what are those signs where, okay, what do these people need to look out for? If this X, Y, and Z is happening, maybe someone nodding right now, what are those things?
I would say, well, your weight, is it creeping up?
Yeah.
Are you unhappy with that? You know, all of a sudden, are you just really struggling to maintain or lose weight? Yes, no, that's one. The way that you feel in terms of your production.
Yes.
Are you focused? Can you not focus at all?
Cognitive function.
Cognitive function, is that good, is it bad? And I would say your energy levels, how are you feeling throughout the day? Are you dipping? Are you lagging? They're the main ones. The stress for me. Yeah, they're all the stress. That's the biggest one. Like, are you then sleeping?
Because it's all connected, right? Stress, digestion, sleep, they're all intertwined. If one of those three is out, the others are affected.
Yes.
And like you're saying here, they're so burnt out. You've got two nervous systems. You've got parasympathetic state and your sympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
And they're just working. Is that sympathetic state where they're not getting enough time to recover in that parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest. Spending enough time there. So they're just chasing their tail all the time and then chasing fads and gimmicks to try and call back time quickly. And then it's ultimately leading further backwards, right?
Exactly. Makes it worse.
So, and that's what happened to me, right? Yeah. When I was full-time athlete, when I was training like 3 to 4 times a day. So yeah, basically when I was in hospital the next day, I couldn't move my legs. We thought it was just glandular fever. Got to get back to training. Like, every day away from training was like huge. The difference between you and your teammates, they were pulling away by just a day. So you had to be there. And for me, that would create more stress in my head. I have to get back here.
But that makes it worse.
Exactly, right? Because it's all trying. The mindset is, my mental is just pushing, is creating more stress. So I couldn't recover. So then we find out that actually you've got 3 lifelong illnesses. It's not good. Okay, you've got glandular fever, strep psoriasis, and Lyme's disease. And we don't know how long it's going to take for you to clear this. So
that's heavy.
Start taking 60 tablets a day. I mean, down in Breakspear Medical, down in Hemel Hempstead, London way. And I'm literally staying in the same 4 walls for nearly 2 years in a hospital bed. And that's starting to put, for me, I'm feeling rock bottom. I'm feeling anxiety, depression. I've lost my dream. Like, they come in now, they cut me, it's done. And that was the consequence of stress. And too much stress and not enough recovery. And that's where the message is for those who are listening in right now. If you're in a corporate environment, work environment, you're a busy professional, you're looking to elevate your health markers, and you can feel these telltale signs, don't ignore them.
No, you need to act on them now.
because they'll bite you back.
Yeah.
They'll bite you, and like you learn from me, that's where it bit me. And that's where, in a hospital bed in 2015, we actually created this company.
Okay.
And what now, nearly 9 years later, we've done some big things, some very special things. But that all started from it going Pete's on a bit messed up. But you've got to, failure will happen, and you'll inevitably find this in your careers moving forward with being burnt out or stressed out or whatever. You just got to make sure you fail forward. You've got to learn from that lesson, which is really, really key. Right?
Yeah, it's how you bounce back from it that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like being interviewed. Keep interviewing me if you like.
Thank you. Am I too far away, Felix?
You're fine.
How did that make you feel?
How did it make her feel? Which bit?
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
At the time, when you devote your whole life to having that medal wrapped around your leg, that is it.
Yeah.
You get so conditioned to, that's my identity now. And me not achieving that felt like failure.
Yeah.
And that led to anxiety, depression, was like, I'm a failure.
Do you still see it now as failure?
No, because my perspective's changed, right? So I realized that I wouldn't be able to create so many jobs for so many staff that we have and change literally thousands of people's lives, create 9 different companies and also a charity without that happening.
Yeah.
So everything happens for a reason, right?
It does.
And I wouldn't have been able to achieve what we've achieved here as a team if I didn't go through that failure.
Yeah.
And those lessons and life lessons moving forward. So it's a blessing in disguise in a way.
It is. And I think for some people, that doesn't happen for everyone. You know, what you've done with your situation and what happened to you, not everyone makes something from it.
Yeah.
But that is how you are as a person. And that divides you as, you know, you're a very business focused kind of person where some people aren't.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about the business. You is more about what can I do in this time that I've got spare? How can I still, you know, achieve, like get a sense of winning within you, even though you felt like you were failing. Yeah. And you, by being in the situation that you was in, you wanted to help other people not to get to the point where you was. Yeah. Where you had worked yourself to the ground, literally. Yeah. And help other people get through those situations.
You're right, absolutely right. And you're spot on with what you're saying. It's a catch though. For you to really excel in what you do, there has to be an element of obsession to do so. And that comes at a cost in time.
It does.
I'm an example of that. I don't mind my hands up of that. But it's then, like you say, it's being able to find that balance, to find the boundary, to find the recovery zones for you to ultimately get the right help, get the right structure in place for you, as opposed to just a generic surface level solution. And then have accountability to recovery as well as the work. I think that's a big thing, isn't it, with what you do, is the accountability to the recovery.
Yes, it is.
Because the Dubai, as an example, it's a playground. It's distractions everywhere when people go out the weekend doing all these things. It's accountability to that as well, right?
It is. It never stops in Dubai. Yeah. It never stops. And I think anyone will agree with me, like in Dubai, there is no stopping. Like, you know, you're expected of so much here, and it's just busy everywhere. No matter what time of day it is, it's busy, and it's, you know, it's like that in any city. And I think anyone will agree with me, but you just need to take a step back from it sometimes and just absorb it, you know, take it in, reflect on whatever it is that you need to reflect on from the day, and just rewind a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm keen to get just a final segment from you.
Yes.
And this is with people who are listening in right now who know they're wanting to change, they're wanting to make some big changes in their life, move forward and create peak performance, unshakable levels of body confidence, but they don't know where to start. What are some tips that you can say to put in place for these individuals that they need to hear, they need to install and put in place to get the ball rolling?
Some little tips. I don't know. And honestly, there's so many. Just to throw a couple out there would be, well, why not now? That's number one. Yeah. Why not now? Don't wait until tomorrow. You need to just take action. Do it now. The longer you leave it, you know, the longer it is going to take you to get to where you want to be and to achieve, you know, happiness and fulfillment. Another one would just be to move more. Honestly, move more. If you have a sedentary job where you're sat at a desk all day, get up every hour, you know, 2 minutes, go to the bathroom, go get a drink, whatever. Move more.
It's worth helping people understand that, like the difference between NEAT and EAT, non-exercise activity. It actually has a higher profile of expenditure, total daily energy expenditure percentage to EAT.
Yeah.
Because you're training your cardio.
Exactly.
So if you can trigger that more.
That's where a lot of people think, oh, I go to the gym every day. Oh, I go to the gym 4 times a week. Why am I not seeing any results? It's because it's a collective. It's what you do throughout the whole day, not just in that 45 to 60 minutes.
Your total energy equation as opposed to just one segment.
Going to the gym is such a small segment of your day. It's what you do around that.
Just finishing off that, just so you can explain to the guys. Obviously, we break that energy balance equation down into 5 boxes. That's what we did to simplify it for clients so they can understand easier. But when it comes to that energy balance equation, tell the guys how you then condense that into these boxes to make it actually easy for them to tick off what those boxes are.
So we inevitably have the foundational things that we think is full priority, and they are non-negotiable day in, day out.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your expenditure, that does initially depend on how much you want to lose or we think you need to lose. Me personally as a coach, I do it in a maintainable, sustainable way. A lot of the coaches will throw you into the deep end and give you a really big deficit, which I don't agree on when people come with us for long term.
Yeah.
You know, there's no immediate rush. We want to do it the right way. We want to do it the educated way. And that's how I approach it as a coach personally. But obviously that depends on how active you can be. You know, if you've got a sedentary job, yes, that deficit from food might have to be a little bit higher because we're not getting the time of day to move more throughout the day. But that's just about time management itself, you know, making sure that you're fitting and allocating time in to get outdoors, you know, just get some fresh air.
So it's obviously what we do is with this energy balance equation with the 4 zones of expenditure, 1 zone of intake, right? We then condense into 5 boxes, being calories, steps, cardio, training, and water.
Yeah.
And we get those boxes that are very easy for them to tick off, complete each day, and then we're holding them accountable
to them.
Boxes. And if we get them to 100% tick them all, we get valid data, adherent data, which is validity.
We do.
And then we know exactly what change we need to make to create the next result. So it becomes just a simple game of science.
Yeah, it is.
A guaranteed result.
It definitely is. And with the coaching side of it, it is a two-way stream.
Yeah.
You know, we have a job and a role to play, and so do the clients. So they also have a job and a role to play. We are there to, you know, we do all the background stuff. Yeah. We take out the hard work for them. We do the programming. We, you know, get them on the route path from A to B to C. They just need to follow it. They need to take action from what we said. And this is why the accountability stuff is good, because they will sometimes maybe forget to check in with us. But we need them to help us help them. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Like everyone needs to be accountable.
Yeah.
It's not, obviously they need to be accountable themselves and also accountable to ensuring that they communicate with us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it's the biggest thing.
It's the biggest thing. And this is what I say to all my clients. The more we communicate, the better results you will get. So, you know, if we don't have all the data and everything that we need, you know, it's not like a limiting factor of how much we can help you, but it makes us know what changes need to be made. You know, if we're stagnant in our weight, you haven't given us a lot of data to use. We don't, then that's when we don't necessarily know what needs changing or like what area needs improving on. So yeah.
And if we haven't got full adherence, we don't know 100% whether it's warranted to change or not.
That's what I mean, yeah. So it's all about the communication.
Absolutely. This has been a good podcast so far. I mean, you've done well, actually. I'm impressed.
Have I? Yeah, I hope so.
You've grown into this. It's good. So
settle it in now. Settle it in.
Section. Give her a round of applause, please. She needs a cheerleader as well.
You're my cheerleader.
I'm your cheerleader. Okay, I'll bring. And you got the pom-poms?
Yeah, okay. I'll bring them around next time.
Guys, hopefully you enjoyed that podcast today. I think it's really important to sort of bring you behind the scenes, meet the coaches, get to know them as well. And if you have any questions for them, reach out to us in the comment section, reach out to us. We'd love to hop on free blueprint consultation call, even with Amy, if you're wanting to know a little bit more about yourself, where you're at right now, where you want to go. We can easily arrange that as well. But if you're in the UK, or if you're in Dubai, wherever you're watching, we've got couple of community events coming up. I think we're doing another one in Dubai soon.
Yeah.
That's in the works, am I right?
Yep, post Ramadan and Eid.
Post Ramadan Eid, we're doing something in Dubai, and then also in the UK, I think we're doing a group Tough Mudder events. If you want to get involved with that, huge community that we have. You need accountability partners. Good stuff. But
Okay,
hope you enjoyed today's podcast. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Bye.